it's recently come to my attention that for all the things that I post about the music that I release and the things I work on, that I really don't do any videos on like the creative process or the making of said music. And so basically I'm working on another album right now. I know I just released a 30-song double album in November there, and so I'm working on the next one already for next year's release. And I just thought I'd show a little bit of the process of what I do or how I create music. And basically it all happens right here, and wherever this computer is where the album gets made. And currently it's in my bedroom in my house here in Kelowna. So and no recording session is complete without this guy. This is Merlin, and he is by my side literally every time I record anything or edit or work on things. And he's I like to call him the executive producer of Enevold music. And yeah, he's a hard one to please, this one. But right now I'm working on an album that is the concept of it is like basically like a triple acoustic type assault with like really big room boomy drums and a synth bass that just carries and sustains every root note. And so obviously drums will have to be retracked with live drums in a room at some point when it's ready for that. But right now I'm just using programmed drums to get the concept, the idea flowing. Right now I'm using my pair of acoustics. Both acoustics are Alvarez acoustics. This is my main go-to guy, and the other one is not in the room right now, but it's a jumbo body, but both from Alvarez guitars. I love their brand. I've been playing Alvarez since I was a teenager, and I've just stuck with them all these years. And here's where some of the secret sauce comes in here. The Acoustic Max from BBE is an incredible analog preamp, and I've been looking for one of these for years, and recently just found one. They're hard to find. This is a 2010 model, and they're out of production, so I'm glad I got my hands on one of those when I did. And Hypergravity from TC Electronic, incredible compressor. I just picked that one up the other day. I already recorded all the songs with it. Some delay, some chorus, and this is an incredible reverb from Wampler effects called the Slow. Incredible reverb, and that one has become quickly part of the secret sauce of this album already. Some flange and looping. Looping's not for the album, but just in case I get the courage up to do some live shows like this. We'll see. And trusty old SM57, you know the deal. I'm just running everything into a M-Track audio 2-channel interface. This thing has recorded all of Enevold music over the years, so it's kind of the workhorse. And what else? So I just kind of go through my checklist as I record guitars, as I comp them, as I quantize them, as I just keep checking them off so I know when I return to each project file where I left off. And so I've gotten all of the guitars recorded already for 14 songs. There's going to be 15 songs on this album. I'm going to write a new song for the 15th. And so yeah, planning on like a next year release on this one. But as we all know, as Merlin knows, albums take some serious amount of time. And the last album, How You Do Anything Is How You Do Everything, took 4 years to make. And that was a beast of an album. This one I'm shooting for 1 year or less. So hopefully I'll achieve the goal when I intend to. But yeah, so that's kind of my process. Everything is done with headphones. The amount of the headphones, I have worn out so many headphones making music. And like there's this one pair I was using last year, and like you can see, like I just absolutely destroyed these earpieces. On the one set of headphones I had to get replacement pads, ear pads for that set. I referenced everything on these. These are Skull Candy Crusher wireless, and again, they don't make these anymore out of production. They make a new model now. I have the new model, the Crusher Evo, they're called. Really good as well. But there's just something about the previous model, the Crusher Wireless, they're called, that they don't make anymore. I don't know. I just know how to trust them. As a lot of producers will say, you just get used to a certain pair of headphones that you come to trust. And so when I listen to my references on those, I kind of know what I need to adjust and how to remix and all that kind of stuff. And as far as the tracking goes, I only use one pair of headphones for tracking. That's these guys right here, the Audio-Technica ATH M50X wired, of course. Those are the most trustworthy headphones I've ever come across in my life for tracking, recording. But again, like you can see, the ear pads are just about worn right out. That's a lot of years of making music on these babies. So, but yeah, I can't say enough about Audio-Technica. They're incredible. Sure, SM57s are legendary for recording. I use a Audio-Technica AT2020 sometimes for some of the acoustic things and some of the vocals. I used to use like a Rode NT1 for vocals, but I think I blew it up. I need to check that again, but I think I popped it somehow. But yeah, that's kind of the process. And so hope you like the journey, following the journey that I'm on here with Enevold music. And that's too bad I can't use that drum head anymore. That was for a 20-inch kick drum I used to have, but I don't have that kick drum anymore. I have a 22-inch kick drum now, so that just hangs on the wall there now. But yeah, recording music sometimes isn't always like, you know, all these Instagram-worthy photos and like these legendary studios. And sometimes, I mean, most of the time for independent artists, it happens in like this, one's bedroom, or you know, in the garage. So you know, that's kind of the cool stage we're at in recording music these days, is we can do it at home. And you know, if you can turn out a product that you're proud of, that sounds really strong and has a lot of punch with the recordings you get at home, I highly recommend it. I've saved, I don't even want to know how many tens of thousands of dollars on studio recording costs. Some things should be done in a proper studio, I will say that. Some things should be done, and sometimes I don't have the budget for that, and so I'll just do the best I can at home. But yeah, do what you can. Keep going at what you're what you're working on, and like, don't let your limitations stop you from continuing forward on the path that you're on. And if I would have said no, if I would have, you know, quit because I'm like, oh, it has to be done in this studio or that studio, you know, I never would have been able to make the releases I have. And so yeah, I just encourage you all, as fellow independents, that use what you got where you're at and extract the best result you possibly can from the technology that you're working with, and upgrade little things here and there when you can. But you know, your creativity shouldn't be limited to, you know, not having the perfect microphone or not having the perfect guitar. Just use what you got, and you'll be surprised what sort of result you come up with. And what I often find is that it's sometimes the the limitations that end up being like the unique sound for that album. It doesn't sound like every major produced album out there. There's something unique about independent music, because it might be, you know, a guitar that has a weird little sound to it, or, you know, things like that. Or sometimes the pedal boards can run like electrical signals, and you're like, oh no, that's a bad sound. Then you get into like the creative process with like mixing and fixing things on the computer. Then you're like, actually, if I add like this effect to it, or that, this or that, like sometimes it can be like these unexpected surprises that go, wow, like I'm glad I got that. I'm glad, like, you know, like Bob Ross would say, it was a happy accident. So, you know, there's that. And Merlin says, just do it. Just make the album. Just keep going what you're doing. And that's all I can say. And I love making music. Merlin loves producing music with me. And yeah, I highly recommend you get a studio cat who loves your music like this guy does with mine. So that's all. Long video, but I just want to share some of the behind the scenes process of what happens at Enevold Studios, if you will. Okay, peace.